I posted a comment and pinned it on the last video, asking pretty much just what should I make next. Get some creative juices flowing for this year. I think it was the second comment. Solid idea. I've had this in my mind for a while now, and it just needs to be made. Just a ridiculous looking sockeye salmon lure. And I printed it in color, just so you could recognize this quickly. You know, this fish. One of the dumbest looking freshwater fish in the world. Maybe you think it's beautiful, I don't know. Looks like a zombie. Obviously, there's gonna be fun facts in this video. I think if I didn't do fun facts on this, my channel would implode. So I'll do fun facts. I'll do the fun facts. One flacking. Okay, let's try to do some fun facts on the good old sockeye salmon. I don't know why you're way the heck over there, but I'm kind of digging it. I'm gonna leave you there. Dude, these things mostly eat zooplankton. I didn't know that. You would think such a gnarly looking fish would be eating smaller fish, but no, they eat zooplankton. So the sockeye salmon, also called the red salmon, the kokanee salmon, or blueback salmon. That's a horrible name for that fish. You find these fellas in the northern Pacific Ocean, and the river's discharging into it. So it just says that this is a salmon that's primarily red in hue. Are they always red? I thought that they were normal colored and then they turned this color after they spawned, but they might always just look like this. That's unfortunate. They can grow up to 84 centimeters. Whoa, 2 feet 9 inches. That's 2 feet 9 inches, dude. That's a hefty fella. That would be. I tell you, 5 to 15 pounds. Juveniles remain in freshwater until they're ready to migrate to the ocean. They'll go a distance of up to 1,000 miles to get there. And all the while, they're just filtering through their weird face zooplankton, little microorganisms in the water. So when they come back in to spawn after having been in the ocean, they die. They spawn once, and they're kaput. No more life. So some populations of this fish do not migrate to the ocean and spawn. They live their entire lives in freshwater. So good for them. They're more concerned with their longevity. This is the third most common Pacific northern salmon species, after the pink salmon and the chum salmon. Whoa, look at the chum salmon. That kind of looks lure worthy, you know? I hope this audio is picking me up. I'm really far away from the camera. I'm trying to say fun facts a little louder. This is probably a really awkward and bad angle to do. I'm gonna stick with it. So these salmon are found as far north as the Columbia River. That's not very far north, is it? Oh, these fish are even in Japan. Wow. And yeah, they always just look like that. I thought they looked different and turned into that, but no, they're red and weird and ugly. They're ugly but interesting. I'll give them that. They're not hard to look at or anything. Okay, glad we clarified that. That's just north of Portland. They don't even go into Washington. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so flabbergasted about that. Let's move on with the fun facts. Limetic feeding behaviors. I've never heard of that word. It's talking about a zone of water. It's an open and well-lit area of freestanding body freshwater, such as a large lake or a pond. Dude, that is way too specific. Oh, so these fish can eat shrimp too. Okay. I just read that whole article. I was talking about how that does not need to be so specific. They swim around in not so shallow areas of water and eat stuff. That's all you gotta say. So they'll eat insects, little shrimpy poos, zooplankton, filter the water with their mouth open, eat that garbage. This fish isn't turning out to be very interesting, I'm noticing. Even though it looks so interesting, it hasn't had a single real fun fact in my opinion. This fish is kind of lame. Reproduction. This might get interesting. Males partake in competitive and sneaking tactics. Reproductive success varies more in males than females. The greater variability in male reproduction is associated with the greater average size. I think the larger, more exaggerated, weird shapes of the males see more reproductive success. Makes sense looking at it. And then the reproductive success in the females is determined by the number of eggs she lays. Whoa, why are they so specific about this fish? So the females are responsible for the parental care of these fish. They select, prepare, and defend the nests that they make until they die or are displaced. What's displacing? Oh, like water went down? See, that's something they need to be more specific. How does a sockeye salmon become displaced? Males do not participate in parental care at all, and they move between females after egg disposition. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what that means. See, that could have been some interesting fun facts there. It was starting to get a little interesting, but then I don't know what that means. So, they spawn, and then they lose all of their energy storages and all their fat, and they become this shriveled up, just disgusting looking fish. And this is in their final moments of marine migration. So they're using up all their energy and they're just going, swimming upriver. And they don't feed this whole time. And not all of them spawn. Some of them waste too much energy and they can't get to where they're going upstream and die. And get eaten by a grizzly bear, or plucked out of the water by an eagle and just torn apart. If the water temperature is too high, sometimes none of them make it. They're just this ugly little fish on this futile little mission, and they just swim until they die. That's a pretty fun fact. Apparently it's extremely competitive too, and they are really mean to each other and display super aggressive behavior all the time. They're getting real specific again about aggression towards male on female and intruding females on intruding males, and they're just aggressive. Conservation status, yeah, there's a bunch of them and they die all the time. They don't need to be conserved. Oh, actually they're listed under the U.S. Endangered Species Act. Whoops, they go swim upstream to their death constantly. Or I can see why they're endangered. But they're only endangered in some areas. They just want to have that fish there still, I guess. What a pathetic fish. Fun facts are over. Real quick, need to straighten a couple things up. I said a couple of fake facts in this fun facts, so let's just go over this real quick. They go from looking like that to that. Ocean, them running upstream to die. Okay, and also, they go way past the Columbia River north. Unless there's a Columbia River like way up north and they're referencing to that river, but that's it. We are getting pretty far along into the build of this thing. And this bait has a first time I've ever done this thing sort of thing to it, which is this. Lexan polycarbonate side fins. Fancy, man. And I'm gonna do them up the same way I did these with the Dremel. They'll be backed with, I don't know, 5-minute epoxy. Good enough, right? Probably just scuff up right there and yeah, glue it on. And then the whole thing's just gonna get enveloped in clear coat. Maybe stick out a little bit. But yeah, that should look pretty sweet for a swim bait. Actually having fins that are translucent, carved and painted on the sides. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but that's not glued in. Those are just set in there and they fit that good. Yeah, man. That doesn't happen a lot. That was just luck, I think. So I've done a few things. Look at how smooth I got that finish. I'm really happy about that. That's a beautiful surface to start painting on. Polyurethane, dipped and brushed it on first, and then I went to a spray. Didn't even thin it out, just dumped the polyurethane in that sprayer and sprayed. And that made such a smooth finish. What did I use? That is what I used. Ultra flat. That smooths it off very nicely. Front hook hanger, rear hook hanger, those are the lead holes, that's what I'm going with, but look at this, there's the line tie under the center line of the bait. That's gonna pull the head up every time you retrieve because you're pulling from down here, not the middle, but you know what I mean. And that's gonna put the tail down in the water a little bit more. I didn't go with a rear weight kind of system that a lot of topwater baits have. They rely kind of on the weight to put the tail down in the water. I think all this stuff back here in the joints and stuff, it's not really gonna give you that action anyway. If you put weight towards the back, you still need it center of gravity distributed. You just want an even weight, I think, with a swim bait topwater. This is going off of memory. I have not made one of these three-piece topwater things in quite a while, have I? But I'm guessing that's what I normally do. We're sticking with it. Let's cut this bait apart. If you're wondering why I put the polyurethane on before cutting the bait apart, it's because there is no method to this, and I kind of it's just a thing that I did. So strange. When it's just connected in the middle. But both the corners on the outside are cut completely, but it's just the middle. Like I can't break it. Super glue. Baking soda. These are some of the most useful disposable tools that exist in the world. Long, skinny, flat stick with rounded edges. The uses are endless. Good boy. New super glue. I've never tried this stuff before. Star Bond, medium thick. I'm assuming it's just like every other super glue, but medium thick. I'm liking it. You can feel the grab already. The grab is strong. Wow. My wrist is making a weird poppy noise every time I move it. That was gross. It was like in tune with the song. It was like pop, pop, pop. You gotta get that super glue in there, like with one of these things. Start at the back. Just filled up with medium thick super glue. Pardon Chip, you just hacked something up there. Now I don't want to scuff up the bottom jaw too much as I screw this in. It's gonna happen though. I just have to accept it. Oh, gross. Dang it. Okay, kind of changes the look of the whole face, but I don't care. That is where that line tie belongs and it's not going anywhere else. I decided on one more spray before we start painting. I'm gonna have to wait like an hour for this, but whatever. It's gonna look better. It's so smooth. It's time to paint, fellas. I started with, oh, I probably already showed it. I started with white. Painted the whole thing white. Nice thin coat of very, very opaque white. Next, pearl lime green. This is going on the head. I looked really hard at the head of this fish and I established that that is the base coat. That's the first color to put down for the head. Moving on to a black. That's the second color. It goes around the mouth and it goes up over the head a little bit, back onto the gills a little bit even. It looks like garbage right now, but those colors just need to be there. Then I threw a detail smoke black in the brush and I kind of hit the whole belly of this bait with that. And then I clear coated the head. Diamond finish, aerosol, clear coat can. Now I'm gonna have to wait an hour for that. I put that stuff on its head because I'm gonna break out the masking fluid and cover the gills up, and then I'm gonna paint the red. Double folded over weird mesh. That's what is gonna put the texture on the face of this bait. That's good and textured. Okay, I ended up trying really hard. I even made a separately, completely new color out of these three. I'd call it pearl snot, something like that. It's an off green, it's kind of darker, but it's pearlized, and it's perfect. It was absolutely perfect for the color necessary on this head. I'm not done. See, it's still a little bit too bright. There's more yellow in there, but I'm really happy with that base. You also may have noticed I'm not talking very much because this is not an easy paint scheme. You look at the fish and it looks easy, red and green. I'm about 80% satisfied with this and how it's going. There's just stuff on this fish I don't get. I don't know why. Probably because I need to break out the hand brush. Here comes the hand brush. Detail smoke black, nice and splotchy under the teeth, and then coming back in with white on the teeth. I just realized this is all one layer of paint too. That's pretty sweet. This is looking good for just one layer of paint. I'm gonna ride these lines a little bit. Gill plate lines with the detail smoke black, make them splotchy and bring the texture up a bit from there. This color, back into the gills with it, and we needed to break up the darkness that we put onto the gills. And this is probably the last step for the gills. But yeah, going all the way down to the bottom, like all the way through the black with this splotchy chartreuse pearl stuff. That just adds a ridiculous amount of depth. It looks so real, it looks fake. That's what we're trying to achieve here. Realistic fakeism. The Lexan polycarbonate fins. Each one of them is going to get a layer of gold, satin gold. The fins aren't gold except the tail fin towards the back, but red on top of gold is beautiful. It always works out well. And I'm not going full opaque with it, I'm leaving the fins translucent. Gonna give them all their red now. It's gonna be... I'm giving it like full red down in the front corner and then fading out. And I think I'm gonna tip this one with white. A lot of these are gonna get tipped with white. It's just a thinned out opaque black. That gave it a lot more texture. It's time to start gluing things to the lure, starting with the side fins. Yeah, now that they're on the body, I think I'm gonna be able to clean those up really nicely and add the color that I need to make it match. Baby steps, man. I still need to paint the teeth and stuff. Side fins are on, let's get the rest of them on this thing. Wow. Starting to come together. It's too black at the bottom, but I can fix that, don't worry. Starting to come together. Okay, I don't have a sockeye salmon eye, or a dead meat custom eye that looks like a sockeye salmon eye. So I'm gonna clean up this socket and we're gonna make ourselves a sockeye salmon eye. This is not easy to do. So first color is white. So this is UV resin with a little bit of chartreuse in it. That's all that needed to be. That's the first layer of paint for the eye. Got a UV light. We're gonna set it. Here's the same thing with red. And this is gonna be the iris. Trying to cover up most of the chartreuse. And be quick at the same time, because I don't want it running everywhere. I just want to put it there and set it super quick. I had some eyes really similar to this, but I wanted a black pupil still, because that's what these things have. I'm gonna catch the other side up. This one's not setting up that good, which is very bad. I do not want this to not set up. That would ruin everything. I'm not good at that method, and the inside of that eye is still gooey and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is accept failure, but make it work for me. I'm going to use these eyes. They're the correct colors, they're just not correct colors in the right spot. On the real fish, the eye socket sticks out a little bit. Like the whole eyeball sticks out from the fish's face a little bit. Which if you ignore the intention of that stuff in the eye socket, it kind of works in your favor. Incorrect patterned eye, but more realistic protruding ugliness. Believe it or not, there's still some stuff I gotta do. I gotta paint the teeth. I gotta correct the colors on some things. Let's just skip that for now. Clear coat. Sorry, I went like 90 years old there for 2 seconds. Clear coat. Time for assembly. Sometimes there's clear coat flashing or some place where the clear coat runs up. It's not supposed to be. You gotta get rid of all that garbage. Especially on these connections. Just send your skinny little utility carpet knife blade straight into the screw eye and not your finger. Just get that blade to cut down to the screw eye. It requires a lot of pressure, so do not slip and hit your finger, and you can wiggle it off. I loosen the grip and just wiggle the whole thing like that, and it comes off clean. So I usually do this off camera for a reason. It's because it's such an important step, and I have the bait just completely finished except for this one step. Installing the joint connections. I usually use super glue for this. I don't go to 5-minute epoxy. I'll be using some medium thick black super glue. But yeah, let me just get these in here and I'll show you. Super glue you can buy off of Amazon, the Starbond stuff. It comes with these. These are more valuable than life itself because you can put super glue deep inside of drilled out parts. You can start at the back and inject and pull out, and you just filled up that entire cavity. That's my perfect glue up solutions for this sort of stuff. And I stuff it in there. Grab my pliers and I wiggle it a little bit. And I do this, that, and the other thing. And I feel like I do 1,000 things at once when I do glue ups like this. It's like the hardest thing about lure making to record and have you guys see. That was a beautifully tight fit though. This is my accelerator. I go one pilot hole at a time though, one segment at a time, and just get each one of them perfect and move on to the next. Makes a good noise. Did I mention this is 2 clear coats? I put that one clear coat with the interference blue in it, and then I put another just clear coat over the top of that. This thing's durable. Like we have a very, very thick layer of clear coat built up over everything. Fins on the side even. Those aren't going nowhere. Wow, okay, last piece. Look at that beast. Look at all that interference color too in the clear coat. That made it look like twice as good. This might need smaller hooks. I don't like how those can cross so easy. Just do that. I put a bit of a smaller one on the back. Amazing. Look at what's in the passenger seat today. I enjoyed staring at that thing while driving. I'm doing something cool with it today too. On a kayak. Sorry if I'm yelling really loud into the camera. It's next to a highway. Okay, I got my paddles, got my rod. Let's get a bag. How about a bag? There we go. Let's go. I think covering as much area as possible will give me the best chance of catching a fish with this giant thing. So the kayak's probably going with me wherever I go. Wow, it's hot out, dude. Okay, it's gonna be kind of difficult to check the action of this bait from the kayak and have you guys see it as well. What in the world? You guys probably heard that. Do you guys hear that? What the heck? That is beautiful. It has a perfect waking action, but it makes this slish slosh like wow. That's the best result I've ever got out of that good of a looking of a bait, if that makes any sense. Just randomly making a bait. I'm guessing where to put the weight and stuff. It's just like I kind of know where it goes and it's just perfect like that. You hear that? Holy crap. I don't even care if I don't catch a fish. I will, but if I didn't, I don't care. I feel like this bait is precious. Like I shouldn't even fish it. I actually feel bad about fishing this bait. It just needs to be put somewhere as an example. Make them like this. If I get a big fish on this bait, it might rip a fin off, and that would be an absolute tragedy. So one issue I'm running into is this big treble hook gets stuck in this joint, and then that screws up the action. I might have to downsize the big one. Happens like 1 out of 10 casts. I just saw a muskrat. Let's give the ditch a shot. I just drove a really long ways, so hopefully it's not in vain. Now you guys can really hear it. It's just perfect. Really should not throw this at trees. Something just snorted at me over there.
I just got a hit. Dude. Bro. Oh, you tangled up my... Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's really good to know. I'm just gonna very, very gently and slowly bring this thing in. It is having a very smooth, tantalizing action out there doing it this way. If something snorted again, that means I'm gonna get a bite. That's not good. Oh. There. We gotta get our lure back, because I just snagged it in a tree. I am currently climbing said tree. Whew. Now I am cutting down branch to get lure. You like my narration? That was yanking on this thing like crazy, and it held up. Hallelujah, we got our bait back. Let's avoid treble hooks on the way down. I'm turning into such a dad. Yet another successful lure recovery. I'm getting pretty good at that. I was just at the top of that tree. That's nuts. Throwing my lure at a rock. It's a good stealth entry though. It's a very hot day out. This is our third spot, going up to a pond up there. We went there for bonus fishing already in this video. That's right, there's bonus fishing in this video. Let's get the kayak in that pond. Ugh, exhausted. The lure is so big that when I cast, it pushes my kayak a different direction. They closed the road to the pike spot. What is this garbage? That's really annoying. Okay, let's get it done. Pike spot. Last spot of the day. It's been quite the day. 0 ups and all downs. I think we had 1 hit. Something was playing with my bait at the ditch, rolling around with it and frolicking, and I couldn't set a hook into whatever it was. Shade. Let's make some stuff happen, fellas. It's the next day. It happens to be cloudy over here. I checked the weather and saw that, so that's a change in the pattern that I haven't had yet. It's just been hot and muggy and just clear skies, so hopefully this does something to the fish. Let's see. And this is the same place I left my paddles for my kayak, or my oar. So hopefully it's still there. Otherwise I'm fishing from the bank and dragging a kayak to the spot. Can't believe I just walked out of here without my oar. It's just right there. How ridiculous of me. I also changed the hooks out to some perfectly sized ones. No more getting hooks out of joints. This is so you guys don't overheat. Sometimes it's not official. Just kidding, it's always official. Oh man. Come here. No, 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 don't throw it. Nope. Nope. Come here. Woo! It's official. I'm about to get a hook in my leg. Adrenaline needs to calm down. It's not a giant one. Long time coming here. 2-something pounder. It's official. Largemouth, like sockeye salmon. It's 2 lengths of this lure, however long this lure is. Oh, I'm really glad I caught you. Thank you. You really just made this video. Be free. Cut myself on my braid. That doesn't feel good at all. We did it. We caught a fish on this beast. It is always official. All right, let us not forget that this time. Yeah, it's like 5 minutes after I just caught that bass. I'm out of here. I want to keep this bait just so that way when people say, dude, what do you catch with that thing? I can just say bass. I caught a bass with it. It's 11:11. Just edited all of that except the outro. I have editing eyeballs right now. Everything's fuzzy. Already figured out the spot for it right there. That's where it's gonna live. Next to some other good ones. And in case you were wondering, that is an 8 1/4 inch bait right there. Weighs 4 ounces. I thought it was gonna be closer to 5. It weighs 4 ounces. 8 1/4 inch. Shut up, air conditioner. Shut up. As you make one of these videos, there's so many instances where you're like, oh, you should say this for the outro. There's like 20 for this video, it feels like, but I can't remember any. This video's over. On to the next bait. That was my chair, I didn't fart. I remembered what I wanted to say. Bonus fishing. It's kind of a surreal thing. Receiving beautiful baits like this from people who made them with molds that you've designed with epic bait molds. This is just, look at this. That's a hand-painted snake made out of the 7.5 swimmer. Just some meticulous, artistic touch hand painting from Sandy right there. Nice job, Sandy. Look at this one. Another snake pattern. We got some hand-painted studs, some gorgeously poured puds. Look at all the colors in those. There's like 50 colors in one bait with that. Nugget, same thing. Some stunning color shift nuggets. You guys seeing that shiftiness? Green on the top right there. Boom. Some maroonish, orangish, reddish. Some OG poison dart frog. That was like, this was years ago. Silicone mold. Some epic speed shrimp, 5-inch Drax, some spiffy kick, very kicky, very spiffy. I think it's time to try to go catch a fish on as much of that as I can. Fish Daddy 401. Nothing but his baits and some jigs and hardware and stuff. Once again, I'm very far away from home and I have a kayak with me this time. We're going up to a pond that's right there. And we're gonna catch a bunch of fish with that box of baits. The bait company's called Fish Daddy 401. Little bait business they got going. Fish Daddy 401, go get some baits. He sells epic stuff, epic bait molds, plastics. So if you want plastics, go to Fish Daddy 401 on Instagram, possibly a website or an Etsy store or something. Linked below. Ooh, I see a hole. Must throw lure in hole on bank. You guys see the hole I'm talking about? I must throw my lure into that hole. We are headed straight for it. There is no time to delay. Just cross the pond to do this. The pond's biggest flathead coming right up. Here we go. I missed. There's nothing in the hole. Woo! That bass almost hit me. What the heck? That's the most a fish has ever scared me. This is called trolling the weed line. It's best just to not cast. Woo! Got him. Woo! Good fish. Good fish. Okay, don't throw it. I want to see you. Don't do it, dude. Don't do it. You're gonna throw that treble hook right in my finger, aren't you? Dude, this is a good bass. It's official. Big bass. 7.5, 15, 18 inch. Like snakes. Epic swimmer snakes. Sweet. Be free. It's probably a 3-pounder. Now that we got the big boy out of the way, let's downsize a bit, see how a pud performs in this pond. I do that to my puds, just pinch off the corners on the top there. Once in a while, if I want a really fast action out of them, I do right now, want a really fast action out of my pud. So it's that easy, just pinch the corners off the tail, turns it into a whole new bait. I'm really appreciating this pond right now. This is a public pond, it's just very out there and not easy to get to. And there's only a tiny bit of bank to fish. But if you're cool like me, throw your kayak in here, a bit of a walk. I'm like advertising this pond even though nobody knows where it is. Gotcha. Woo. Oh, I almost had you. Like just this little pink, and you just don't know when to set the hook. You just make a decision. So good. Oh my God. Foul guy. Where is Large Margaret? I need my 5-pounder for the year. That's usually all I get in a year, is like maybe 1 4 or 5-pounder. Got ya. Woo! Pudfish. Bass have liked puds for a long time now. Be free. It has been 1 hour and 14 minutes. They're not biting very well, but they're kind of biting, so I'm gonna stick around, make this a whole day thing, you know. Gotta do what you gotta do. Got him. That bass thought that something fell out of that tree, and it ate it immediately. Another pud bass. Let's do a nugget. Yeah, I'm really appreciating how beautiful these baits are. That's just correct colors, just absolute fish attracting beauty, and fishermen attracting beauty. Woo! The nugget got a bite first cast. Got him. I didn't set the hook very hard on that. I was wondering if it was even a fish or not. When you get a fish on the 7.5-inch swimmer, that's not bad. Happened to be a good one. Thank you 401 Fish Daddy for the baits. It was quite the assortment. I tore a few up. I'll keep a few for display. Definitely keeping that beast. Thanks, Arthur. Bonus fishing's over. On to the next bait.